Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Tarot Tuesday. Last week we had the Five of Pentacles, which was a pretty fun video, despite the fact that the card itself isn't very fun. So with that in mind, let's see what we have this week. Oh, Five of Cups. Interesting, another five. This one I do happen to like quite a bit, so I'm looking forward to explaining this one. Okay, very good. The Five of Cups. I remember when I first started doing tarot, this was like, I was kind of meh on the card, you know. I think it's because it just got this mopey, sad sack of a guy on it. And the gray skies, you know, they really are a downer. But I've grown to love this one quite a bit. Arguably one of my favorites, I think, because of the message that it gives. As you can see here, he's looking at three spilled cups. And behind him, there are two that are unspilled. Okay, so he is focused on the spilled cups. So this is a card about loss and grieving, and really just this sadness that you don't know how to move on. You know, then we go up to the eight, and that person clearly has learned how to move on and left eight full cups. This guy can barely get on with two full ones. So it's a different story for a different week. So this one does show that all is not lost. Okay, so this is the very positive aspect of this card that may be tough for some when they see it. You know, they're like in this down state. But here's the kicker, here's the beautiful part right here, is that all is not lost. So let's take a look at the two full cups, because that's the most important part of this card. So there are two ways I can see this, is that either the person doesn't know that these two cups haven't spilled yet, like they saw three down and just assumed they all spilled, or like, you know, if you drop a dozen eggs, you know, and you see yolks leak out, you think that, well, I probably lost them all. Or they didn't even know they had them to begin with. You know, say someone had placed those there while they were grieving over these three cups that spilled, and now there are two there that they didn't know. Either way, they are still there. This is where they will turn their attention, and this will help them to start manifesting positively. Regardless of how they got there, focusing on the positive and what you have is what we're going to express to the sitter. So in those moments when they feel like all is lost, you know, this is where you tell them to change their thinking. You know, it's not what is lost, it's what you have. And it's funny too that people will tend to focus on loss and what is not there when their entire life, their like whole visual spectrum and judgment of art usually consists of what is there. Okay, you know, like you can look at something's negative space, which we'll probably cover a lot in this series, but people are more focused on what is there. So it's really funny when someone loses something to focus on what's not there instead of what is there. You know, it's like a whole shift of their entire perspective just because they lost something. You know, like you could collect baseball cards your entire life and you could have 7 million baseball cards, but you lose that one Mickey Mantle rookie and, you know, you're crying in your beer, you know, but you still have 6.9 etc. million, you know, baseball cards. Okay, so it's like people need to remember where their focus originally is, and that's what you have. Okay, don't worry about what you lost, because you can only move forward with positivity and what you have. Okay, so look at the positives of this and move onward from there. Okay, in regards to the two situations I mentioned earlier, one we basically just covered, like, hey, turn around because you still have stuff. But what if someone had just dropped those off and they didn't realize they had this yet? Okay, then this card is even more beneficial because they don't even know that this, you know, the benefactor had dropped off these cups. They don't know that they have the two full cups. Okay, so your reading is showing them that these cups, this positivity, they have something. You know, if they didn't think they had it, and now you can show them, hey, there is something here, you just don't know you have it. And then this will change their whole outlook. You know, this is maybe not their problem, like they weren't focused because they just didn't know. So regardless of the situation, this is the benefit. You know, it's focusing on what you have. It's taking your strength. It's moving on. It's getting this guy over the bridge, okay? If we look at this graphically, you can see the bridge at the back, and the cups spill towards the water, okay? But if he were trying to cross this river, you know, he would need to go over the bridge. He can't just cross where he is. Interestingly, the two full cups are at the path. They're on the path side. So, you know, this shows you right here graphically that his focus is not allowing him to go forward because he can't cross the river where he is, where these fallen cups are. But by seeing the 2 full cups, changing his focus, he can find the path which will lead him to the bridge to get him across, to get him home. So it quite explicitly shows, you change your focus. You focus on what you have, and you can get to where you need to go. Another interesting graphical note, look at the liquids that were spilled. Okay, so there's one puddle that's blue, which will be water, and then the other puddle is red, which, alright, we would assume it's wine, but what's another red liquid? Not Kool-Aid, it's blood. Okay, so if you want to focus on that too, because if that were what's popping out at you, and not the fact that there is, just the spill, but you see the color of it, and the color pops, and that's what's speaking to you, think about it that way. Like, is it getting through, when blood spilled, like a tribulation, of some sort that this person had gone through? Think about the blood spilled as the trial, okay, like trials and tribulations, obviously, and that it's spilled, it's done, it's gone. Okay, you went through the work, now let's move on. So you can focus again on a different visual take on this, in that there isn't maybe so much as loss as much as it is the trials are done. All right, that's an interesting take, but it could fit in this situation. And one last bit. The 2 cups are on the right side of the card, and that's the power side, okay? So this is him taking his power back, all right? So ditch what you don't need and take your power back. Okay, in the reverse, this is, coming out of this period, it's hope on the horizon, things getting better. And this is another instance where the card in the reverse is just entirely positive. So, if you're not reading reversals, watch my video on 5 of Pentacles for my rant on why that is stupid. Instances like this where the reversal is pretty much just the opposite of what it is in the upright. Graphically, there's not a whole ton to discuss, really. But here's what I like to do when I look at cards like this, or cards, any card really. One way to look at them is from bottom to top. So with that, I like to say that the bottom, the side towards you who's reading, because that's how you read them, right in front of you, so that the bottom is present and the top is future. So follow it like a graph all the way up. What's in the way? In my video for the strength card, we had talked about how the lion was between the woman and the mountain. And so in this, we look, and it's the gentleman, he's upside down, but all the way up, and the cups and his feet are on the ground up top, okay? And so the way I see this one is because there's so much, we already hit the negative space comment, because there's so much negative space here, which we're putting in the present. Right, here's where the dull is, here's where the ache is, here's where the depression is, here's where the spilled cups are, in theory. So once we hit his head and then start to go up, you follow his feet, his body down up to his feet, which are at the top, and they're on the ground, okay? And this is where you can move, this is where you can walk, this is where you can go, this is where you can grow. So this is showing that, hey, while it's Dullsville right now and sucky, it's on the horizon, and you're moving up to your feet, okay? This is what's going to propel you out of there. No. To get you to that bridge. It's really all about getting this character on the card to that bridge, to go home. There's like a little castle on the card. Or, maybe there's a new job. Maybe there is a new sweet hat. Whatever it is, it's in that castle. Unless it's Mario Brothers, then she's probably in another castle. But this is where you would look at it that way. You would say, okay, here's this negative space. Here's some stuff where things aren't, and here's where things are. Okay, and here's the present, and here's the future, and this is where they're going. Okay, I like to read them upwards. So those are just some quick visual interpretations of the 5 of Cups here. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Please check out my other videos for more. If you're interested in learning with me, I teach Intuitive Tarot at the Ivy League Psychic Academy. The link is in the description, and I will see you next week.